I'm a registered psychotherapist practicing in Ontario, and today I would like to speak about challenges people might have while having life transitions, if they have encountered accidents or serious illnesses, or they've been struggling and working under work stress for long periods of times, and a moment comes when you feel fatigued, exhausted, overwhelmed, and it can be difficult to continue with your work, to focus on your work, to maintain your progress, or sometimes you might have some challenging emotions such as sadness, anxiety, and I would like to share some strategies and ask you some questions that might help to support yourself and to regain your energy, focus, and strengths that are already within you, and that can help you to motivate and inspire you to keep going and to regaining your energy even during difficult times. When we are encountering some challenges that are difficult to cope up with, or when we are making efforts and struggling for long periods of times and we cannot change the circumstances we are in, we might feel frustrated, exhausted, and you can notice two versions of yourself. One of them is pretending as if they are fine and trying to care about people around them, about their responsibilities, and on the other hand there is another version who is struggling, who is feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and who might be desperate, in despair, and trying to make changes, trying to make efforts, but feels extremely tired and fatigued. And today I would like to ask you some questions that would help to support that version of you who is overwhelmed, and to help them to heal, to recover, and to regain the energy they had in the past in order to keep going and to make changes, meaningful changes in their own lives, and to contribute to other people's happiness and well-being. Have you watched the film Freedom Writers? In this movie, their teacher is... Have you ever watched the film Freedom Writers? In this movie, the students, they feel discouraged. There is a lot of chaos, drama in their lives. They have experienced a lot of challenges and they lost trust. It's difficult for them to make connections, to feel positive, hopeful, because there are always challenges in their lives and everybody is complaining about their behavior. And when they meet their teacher at school, she becomes the one who believes in them and who is listening to their stories and encourages them to rewrite their stories, to gain a different perspective on what they have encountered, and to use these challenges as strengths, and to use these challenges in order to keep going, to keep trying and making positive changes in their lives. So what helped them to stay alive, to keep going, to make progress, is that there was somebody who believed in their capabilities, who helped them, who listened to them and helped them to express their emotions, their thoughts, was respectful towards them. And another component is social support. They started to support each other, to listen to each other, to cooperate with each other, and they kept taking small actions towards transformation, and they set goals, and they thought about dreams they might reach. They discussed about goals they wanted to achieve, and all these elements helped them to transform their lives. Maybe it didn't happen overnight, but they kept trying, they kept taking small steps, and in the end they achieved the goals that they wanted to achieve, and their lives were changed completely. All of our stories are different, experiences we had are different. However, we are all human beings, and we have common feelings, emotions while we are experiencing some challenges, and the formula actually is the same. Everyone wants to be heard, understood, supported, and social factor is important. So finding people who can believe in you, who can understand you, and feeling their support and believing in yourself, considering and becoming aware of thoughts that you have about your life, about yourself, and about your future, and writing them down or being able to express them to someone whom you can believe, and examining your thoughts, expressing your feelings, and finding a social support, a ground where you can transform, and finding people who are like-minded seem to be the keys for transformation and for achieving the goals that you want to achieve. So I want you to imagine a life that you would like to have, and to think about what kind of connections you would like to have, what's the version of you that you want to become, and how you would like to respond to these challenges, how you would like to show up despite these difficulties, illnesses, diseases, accidents, or any other difficulties you are experiencing in this moment, how you would like to spend your time and your life, and how you would like to see yourself, not what the accident or difficulties have created, the version of you that I want you to take a moment and imagine a life that you want to live. Not the life or version of yourself that accident has left or other difficulties has shaped, but the version of you that you are dreaming to have, how you would like to spend your life, your time, how you would like to connect with other people, what you would like to include in your life, and how you imagine yourself maybe reading, studying, learning new skills, doing new activities, and how you would like to feel at those moments, what kind of work, hobbies would you like to pursue, and which activities or things you would like to include into your life that you think will create meaningful life, and how your life would look like if you thought it was meaningful and worth living it. And imagine yourself how you would feel at those moments, what you would think about yourself, what other people who value you or who are important for you would feel about you. And keep this image in your mind. This image would become a kind of compass for you when you will feel disappointed or when your body would resist. You can use this image as a source of motivation for you to keep going, to keep making small steps and progress even during difficult times. Oftentimes we got stuck in our own thoughts, or we are drowning on other opinions of other people. For instance, when they are saying that you can't do it, or when your mind is telling you that you are too tired, or you can't do it, you can't handle this. It's important to notice that this is just a thought and to compare it with reality. Remember how many times your mind told you that you can't do something, or it's too scary, it's too difficult, but you were still able to enter that exam, pass that exam, to overcome the challenge, and to do things that were important for you. But the point and the time when we got stuck and fused with those feelings, they impact our mood, they impact our behavior, our performance. So each time when you would notice that your mind is telling you some negative comments or thoughts about yourself, about your image, about your abilities, capabilities, or maybe some other people will be criticizing you, or thinking that you are not able to complete or to achieve it. Remember about those images that you had in your mind and use it as a source of motivation. And remember that the way we respond to our thoughts and the way we interpret our thoughts becomes the choice point that shapes our emotions, other perceptions, views, and at the end of the day we would realize that actually the thoughts we have, the thoughts we believe, beliefs we have about ourselves and about the world is actually what's shaping our lives and our actions and our behavior. And it considerably impacts our progress and capabilities that we can have in life. So what's possible when we notice and become aware of thoughts that we have at that moment? For instance, imagine that you want to start a new career, or you want to try a new hobby, or you want to study a field that you haven't thought about it before. And before starting, what generally happens? We have some negative thoughts that it's too difficult, it's not possible to achieve, or we are thinking about our responsibilities, we are thinking that we can't find any time for this, and that generally shapes our behavior. We got anxious, we got tired, our emotions are changing, and they are impacting our performance, physical sensations. So each time when you would notice this kind of negative thoughts or beliefs about yourself, there are options that we can take. One of them is to believe to these negative thoughts, and that would impact our life negatively. Or another is to take small, meaningful steps towards what matters for you. And while we will be making small steps towards our dreams, of course we will have different feelings, and feeling sad, exhausted, overwhelmed are part of being human, and everyone is experiencing different feelings at different stages of our lives, and that's a sign of being human. That's a sign of these are the signs that carry information about what we care, what's meaningful for us, and what is important for us. And when we stop resisting those feelings and accept them as they are, and we can still continue to make progress. When we look at lives of different successful people, high achievers, athletes, writers, authors, we would notice that many of them have experienced difficult times in their lives, but their dreams, their goals help them to keep going. And sometimes we think that it's not possible to keep going when we feel disappointed, but actually we still can take small steps even when we feel sad, even when we feel anxious. And if you look back to your life, you would notice that there were many times when you felt anxious, when you felt scared, but you still were able to achieve goals that you want to achieve. And when we become aware of it, it becomes a kind of stimulus, motivation for us to keep going. And actually the feelings we are having are carrying messages about what we care, and we can use them as fuels, as stimulants in order to keep going. For instance, if you feel worried about your career or about your health, you can use those feelings in order to motivate yourself to do things that might help you to improve your health or your career. So instead of becoming scared of your feelings, becoming anxious about anxiety, scared about your fears, we can choose to make small steps that would help us to get closer to our goals. And this would help to accept feelings and to keep going despite difficult, challenging feelings and experiences we are having in our lives.